What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Working Actor Life. This is episode 14. I am Sam Valentine. Next to me is Gabrielle Bin-Las. Hi.
Hi. It's funny because we had scheduled this podcasting day to be podcasting and then working on our social media because Sam is a manifester and she does better when she needs to work with somebody on something that she doesn't really want to do. And I am a control freak and I love asking people to do things and then saying yes. And that's why Sam and R's relationship works really, really well. And so originally I had an audition to record and I was like, actually, I don't want to record the audition, do the podcast, and then do socials. It'll take a lot of extra energy for me. So Sam was like, cool, let's do the audition on Sunday. I then did not tape it because when I opened the audition, I recognized that it was for a Hispanic woman. I am not that. But I have new reps from LA. So that conversation always has to come in whenever I get new reps. And even though I tell them in our initial interview, they sometimes forget. So we're just going to podcast and do socials. It's going to be great. Then, super chill. Then I adopt a new puppy. And then I get a Grey's Anatomy audition with a quick turnaround because...
Oh, it was Grey's.
It was Grey's. We wanted to test the waters. You know how it is. It's like, I'll just get a new puppy. It's about to go into slow season. Needless to say, we ended up recording an audition. We're going into podcasting, and then we're going to do socials. It's exactly what. Apparently, from the universe, I needed to work this muscle. It was like, no, you're going to do it all.
How was it?
It was great. Simple. Great. Listen, it is, oh my God. Actually, I should just read the breakdown. Do you think that's bad?
Yes, I do not think you can read the breakdown.
Okay, so I won't read the breakdown.
Can you vague the breakdown?
Mm-hmm. Sure. So the biggest thing that you need to know, she's pregnant. She's there to support somebody else that she's protecting.
Always
and it literally, I'm
roles.
always auditioning for pregnant roles. I've been pregnant 5 times on television now.
I've auditioned 1 time to be pregnant. 1 time.
One?
I
mean, I can't even tell you how many times I've auditioned to be pregnant because it's like once you're pregnant, they're like, okay, we believe that she's pregnant. She has footage that she's pregnant. She can play pregnant. And then I've given birth on camera. So now they're like, if somebody needs to be pregnant, this bitch can be pregnant, which is hysterical because this bitch don't want to be pregnant. But we will take the typecast. So
absolutely.
Right. I came in the audition. I was like, oh, pregnant, bet. I got it. Pregnant. She's protecting somebody. And it literally says in charge attitude. And when I saw that in the breakdown, I was like, no one else is going to do this as great as me. Pregnant, in charge, and protecting. That is my slug line. This was simple. 2 pages. Recurring guest.
And she's in Los Angeles.
She's in Los Angeles, baby. Just
Great.
Fuck up all of our travel that you're going to come here for 8 days. I'm going to leave Corey with this puppy, and I'm going to go film for Grey's Anatomy. Who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Actually, this puppy probably could come with me.
Yesterday was not if you're going to stay at my house. You cannot bring a puppy to my house.
No, I can't bring the puppy to your house. But I could bring the puppy to a Airbnb near you.
Yeah. I hope they're paying you really well for this. This is going to be a trip of a lifetime.
You're right. Because it's recurring guest. It would be top of show. So we're looking at $15K.
Okay.
If that happens, that's how I'm going to do it. Keep going.
Okay, wow. What a thing to look forward to. I want nothing more than for you to travel with a puppy and also for me to have an Airbnb to go to hang out. It would be great.
To like leave for a little bit.
It's my dream. The place we live is a duplex and we rent the bottom and the top is rented as well. And they're awesome. They're lovely. We are so lucky because having someone in a duplex is very hit or miss. You have to really like your neighbors because you are in the same home technically. My dream still is to own the other half of the duplex at some point. So I can use it for myself or I can rent it. I just also imagine Trudy meeting your puppy and that in a controlled environment would be really good for your puppy. I think that teaching it to be afraid of chihuahuas early on is a good thing.
Yeah, the second we like turn the corner and the multiple chihuahuas in our neighborhood that like to chase Winston and I start to randomly come out around it. This Dane is going to be like, oh my God, it is a chihuahua. Like, we've got to move. Mom, we cannot stay here. It is not safe.
I would love it.
Trudy will be in LA. Speaking of, my little friend who wants to leave us feedback all the time named Dad on our reviews.
Oh, yes.
Fuck off.
There's a person who's Dad. Their username on Spotify is Dad, and they comment. But you know what? We welcome the listens and we welcome the interactions because they're good for the algorithm. No,
I don't. We can have one less interaction. He's wasting his time.
Let him waste it. Let him drop comments. And you know what I would love? The other people who've dropped comments, I'd love if you replied back to Dad. have some interaction in the comment section. Let's build some camaraderie. Let's build some community. I don't really care about that. It's a podcast. If you've devoted that much time to us and then you want to drop into the comment section, it's not my father. I would really appreciate a comment. In fact, can also you leave 5 stars at the same time, because I pulled up our Apple reviews and I can only read 4 of them. We have some 1-star reviews. Gee golly, I can't imagine why we're 7 minutes in this podcast and we talked about acting.
I actually checked out when you started saying the right thing that we should be saying about people leaving bad messages. Oh, great. My agent just responded. Thanks, Gabrielle. Really great work. It has been sent to casting. Wow, what a breath of fresh air. Do you remember when I used to have that one manager that would never respond to anything and I had no idea if he thought my shit was good or not?
Do you remember when you initially left him and then you thought about going back to him and I had to talk you out of it?
And I would have. Thank God you talked me out of it. Thank God.
It was toxic. It was a relationship.
Toxic.
We could have saved each other so much time in dating.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have been friends because I would have been really rude about it. And you would have been like, I don't understand why she's so mean. And you wouldn't have stayed because you don't stay with mean people. That was an acting comment.
You absolutely would have. You absolutely would have kicked me out of your house while you're having one of your parties, and I wanted to stay late.
Yes.
Yeah.
This episode, now 8 minutes in, is supposed to be about you all going home for Thanksgiving, if you are, or maybe you're having guests come in for Thanksgiving. And you're in luck because Sam does not go home for Thanksgiving, and I do go home for Thanksgiving. And I'd like to talk about the two things because I think maybe some people don't know that they have the option to not go home. Now, Sam doesn't because it would be outrageous for her to spend money to go home. And she went home actually 2 weekends ago.
So expensive.
Which was, it's so expensive during the holidays. So she went home 2 weekends ago, which is great. Spent a whole week with her family. It was lovely. She was with them. So her and Caleb stay in LA. You like in Atlanta. Did you hear that?
You wish. I haven't had an Atlanta audition in a minute. So let's put that out in the universe.
Yeah, let's put that out in the universe. Corey's family lives like an hour and a half from us. So we go to Corey's family for Thanksgiving and then we go to my family's for Christmas. And this year I'm debating on not going. We're going to go to Corey's family's because obviously it's Corey and it's his decision. But I don't know if I'm going to go visit my family this year. And I think the main reason I've thought about it is because I've seen you not do it and you haven't died. You've still felt holiday. You've been happy. You've been grateful. You're not choosing not to go because your family drives you crazy, but it just works out. And it makes me think as actors, if it protects your mental health more to not go see the family during the holidays, maybe you don't. You don't have to go. I do think there's so many times when actors go back home and their parents or whoever says all those things we hate them saying, and then they question everything going into the new year. Everything. And then we get the role, right? I got to get new headshots. I got to get a new agent. It's like it all happens from the going home.
I think I come at this from a different perspective because I live in a transplant city. So the vast majority of people in Los Angeles aren't from Los Angeles. Only a small percentage are. And that means that we have to decide to go home for the holidays or not. And so it's never been a confirmed, like it is Christmas time, you go home. It is Thanksgiving time, you go home. Also, Christmas and Thanksgiving are within weeks of each other. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that
crazy.
Is, we should have planned that better.
Yeah, well,
Christian holidays
was it Columbus
murdering Native Americans? Yeah, it's
murdering.
It's not a great. We haven't done great things, but in the current
Canada
calendar,
celebrates it in August, though. We should do that. Keep going.
Yeah, they do
in the
it
current
so
calendar.
Much. Yeah, I'm sure they have.
Why does Canada celebrate Thanksgiving for the same reason?
Yeah, because ours is like this is when we thank having our own country and having being separated, right? I don't know. Let's not go into the history lesson.
Okay, sorry.
I don't know.
All right. Back to it. Back to it.
We'll have my husband on the podcast if we want to do that.
That's who we need.
No
Give us the history of Thanksgiving for Canada and the United States.
Dad would love Caleb.
Dad would love Caleb. Well, they should bring that man back on. The male voice was really nice in that podcast.
He shared tactical information.
That's right.
He's gonna love being talked about in this podcast. So I never saw it as an obligation to go home. My family also moved every couple of years growing up, so going to spend time with family was what we did for vacations. And spending time with relatives was optional in that way because it was so much of a schlep to get to somebody's house to get all the 3 kids. I don't know how my parents did it, to be honest. that was what we did when we traveled. So I never felt obligated. And my first year in LA, I did not go home for any holidays.
Wow, your
And
first year? Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah. And I was probably a little depressed, to be honest, but that was because I was still finding my footing. I had a really weird relationship with someone who I was like super interested in, and they were not at all interested in me, but they let me dog sit their dog. I don't know.
Ugh.
Yeah, yeah, but
Ugh.
it was great because then I had a dog with me for the holidays because I didn't get Willow till the next month.
You're right. If we were younger, because I would have been
Yeah,
like, you are not dog sitting the guy's dog who doesn't like you, but will let you dog sit.
yeah, yeah. It
Red
was,
flag.
yeah. So, red flags not even to enumerate on this podcast.
Great.
He's not even worth delving into.
He is
But
dad.
I wait, do you know it would be wild? Because my first date in LA was with someone who was like 20 years older than me. And then my second date in LA was with someone who was like way, way younger than me.
Way
Who was
younger?
this
How old
guy? This
was
guy
the
was younger
younger?
than me. I was 24 and he was like 19. I
Oh
didn't
my
know it until we were
God,
on a date.
Sam.
I know, but he had a dog and then the dog I probably fell in love with the dog more than I did him. Anyway, this is not Sam's therapy podcast. This is about
Wow.
holidays. And
Okay,
I
holiday.
use the dog as a conduit to bringing excitement, changing up the momentum. And I think that was part of what I need. It has nothing to do with necessarily going to see mom and dad, brother and sister. I need an atmosphere. I need a change of pace. I need a vibe. And so that's to me decorating. That's going to a friend's house for meals and making special food. And Caleb and I made a lot of our own traditions because we just have. We've both never really gone back to our families for holidays. We saved so much money that way, and they
Yeah.
completely understand. It's just been really fun to make our own stuff and to make my own type of like delineations of what a holiday is. So I don't have what you have, which is you have the choice
Mm-hmm.
because it's an hour car drive.
Mm-hmm. It's not bad at all.
I don't know what that's like.
Well, I think there's, pros and cons, which is probably what a lot of people deal with. If they're that close, why not?
Mm-hmm.
But also, if they're that close, you get the guilt of not. I will be in big trouble for not going because it's so close. Why wouldn't you still come? There's no excuse not to. But, my family, they're not like disagreeing with my acting career. It's more so of just like my choice not to have kids. And so that affects my acting career, especially when you get auditions to play pregnant women. I don't know. Christmas to me has always been celebrated with family. We never traveled anywhere, but it was always a mass of family at all times. Even when I went to college and my other siblings went to college in LA, they still came back. When my older sister moved to Vegas, she still came back. Because when my family moved away from California, we were the only people that moved. Everybody else still stayed there. So there was a lot of ostracizing that happened. And it was like, well, you guys should come out here to California because it would be way too much for all of us to visit you in Atlanta, which is fair. But I was one of four. My family was not about to take 4 kids and then them two to California for the holidays. So we created a lot of family traditions that I think make me feel like the holidays. And I worry if I don't go home, I will miss that. But I think about you. And I think about how you could still create your own traditions that might serve you better. So I wanted to make sure we spent some time on this podcast because maybe some people hadn't thought about that. And then we can also switch too and give some people some tips as to how to, which I think you're going to be great at, how to handle. Ooh, we should play role play. I will be the
Oh,
annoying
okay.
aunt at Thanksgiving dinner.
Okay.
Sam, you're playing an actor at Thanksgiving dinner, and you're going to give people good examples of how to answer these hard questions. That's it. Boom.
Oh, this
There's our
is
game.
great. Okay. All right. So I'm me after having
Yes.
the year I've had trying to explain
Yes.
to you how this. Okay, great.
Great. So here we go. We sit down,
Okay, ready?
Thanksgiving dinner, cutting turkey, moment before. And
Okay.
Sam, it's so good to see. You're in LA, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's been 14 years.
Oh my God, 14 years. You're
Wow.
doing the actor thing in
Yes.
Hollywood. I love it.
Yeah.
Did you get to be on any TV shows or like move? I don't know what it's called. Movies? What?
Yeah, this year was a very interesting one. So I
Mm.
didn't, but I signed with new agents. So I'm being put out and I'm getting a lot more auditions. I'm actually doing really well in the current
Oh,
actor
have you? I meant
atmosphere.
to ask you the other day. So sorry. Have you met anyone famous? Who would I know? What have you been in that I would know?
Uh, not that I've been in, but I did serve Tom Hanks's family once for a wedding.
Oh, Tom
Hmm.
Hanks.
They were
For a
all
wedding.
very nice. Yeah, yeah.
Wow, wow,
Hmm.
wow, wow.
Hmm.
Very cool.
Hmm.
Very cool. I'm watching The Diplomat on Netflix. Have you watched that show?
No, not yet. Do you like it?
I do. I love it. I was thinking you would be great on that show. Remember that little stint you had back in, I think it was college when you were in to be like
Mm,
a sports media girl, right?
yeah, that's what Dad always wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I was thinking like the reporter in you should be on that show. And I looked it up and I think they film in New York, but I'm
Mm,
wondering, maybe you could like write them a letter and just
mm.
let them know, like, hey, I'm going to be in New York. I'd love to be considered for the show. If you have anything, have you ever thought about that?
I haven't looked into letters, but
Mm.
let me watch the show and then I would love to talk to you about it.
Oh, great. Okay,
Yeah.
cool, cool. I love
Yeah.
that you're doing, the whole like little thing because
Mm,
it's just really cool. It's really cool, Sam. This is awesome. It's
thank you.
great. Hmm.
Thank you. You know what's actually made it easier is that it's a job that most people quit, and nobody from
Mm.
our family has done it before. To be able to continue to do it even through hard times and to be able to show people it's possible to be happy, not just when work is going the way you thought it would, and still have a savings account and a home and a happy family. And to be able to be sitting here with you, it feels like I've really won.
Yeah, I could see that. But I do
Yeah.
worry about you. Like, I'm glad to hear that you've got a savings account, but
Mm-hmm.
like, there's no 401k or like,
No, but I
are
have
you
a
guys
couple.
okay?
I have a couple IRAs actually.
Really?
Yeah, I have more than one. So,
You have
yeah,
more? Oh,
I have a Roth, I have a SEP, and I have a regular IRA. Hmm.
wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's actually there's a lot more to it than I think that people want to talk about. But I actually do
Mm.
a whole podcast on this if you ever want to listen to it. That's one of my other jobs.
Oh, I love the podcast. I watch them on the YouTube a lot.
How long do you want to do this?
I think that was good. I think that was a good ending. Okay. Okay. Now I want to interview you in like real life.
Okay. Okay.
You had some really great answers on there. Can we
Yeah.
give people answers if they didn't sign with a new agent and they need to give
Yes.
something to the fact that they don't have any bookings?
Yes. I think you get to decide. First of all, you know your family best. So, is this a person that you think can take a learning lesson? Is this someone you want to teach about the business? Or is this a conversation you need to get through? There are
Mm.
two different things. Deciding which one you're in tells you how much information to give to someone. I don't have to teach everyone in my family how this business works, but if it's somebody I want to, I've taught my grandma, I've taught my parents, I've taught my brother and sister. Not like I had a blackboard out and I said, today we're going to learn about callbacks and how they don't really happen anymore. But I have slowly piecemealed little bits of information when they ask follow up questions. So if it's someone like that, I think taking the opportunity, you have to assume, which I know, Gab, this is not your favorite, but I have to assume that they mean well and they just don't know any better. And when I come at it from that perspective, it makes holidays so much more tolerable and a
Mm.
lot nicer. Because
Mm.
even if they are out to be malicious, which some people's families are, I just want to eat some green bean casserole in peace. I just want to have a biscuit. I just want to get to pie and have some and like be too full and then go on with the day, right? So that way you can keep it moving. If it's someone who just is going to be shitty, I mean, I guess you could be shitty back, but like, why? Like, there's no point to me of saying something like, oh, yeah, how's your lawyer job? Did you sign with new people? Did you make a bunch of money with clients? What about your 401k? Are you okay? Like, you're an engineer. I hear that like is crumbling and being taken over by AI. Like, are you doing okay? Like, you kind of can guide that conversation and and just dip in and out and decide how much you want to give to people.
Mm.
And I think having those things in your back pocket while still giving the benefit of the doubt is a different thing. If you don't have any good news to share this year, where else can you guide the conversation? If someone asks you, "Oh, did you do any TV this year?" TV was light, but I did move apartments and we are so much closer. In fact, we are closer to your favorite Universal. Like, can you just guide people towards what you feel comfortable talking about so you feel okay, so you don't have to hide the entire time. And if you can have backup in some way, if you can have somebody with you who can be a voice, maybe it's a sibling, maybe it's one of your parents who can intervene if needed or be your cheerleader to add some joy to what might have felt like not your year, that's really good. Because nobody's going to understand probably that having 3 callbacks, 2 pins, and an avail was a really good year.
Just want to recap here for people that want like a quick little cheat sheet. 1, decide if that family member is someone you want to teach about the business or not. If the family member is someone you want to teach about the business, then gently decide what lesson you want to teach them and come from a place of thinking that they are actually inquisitive and have a good heart and just want to know the information. If that family member is somebody that is not somebody you want to actually teach the information, try not to be snarky, because at the end of the day, that's only going to make you also feel bad if you're an actual human. And instead, either guide the conversation towards something that they like, i.e. maybe it's you're living now, like Sam said, close to their favorite studio of Universal, or say another win that you had within that year, or guide it towards another conversation about a win that you had within that year, and loop it back to acting, right? Because we all know that Sam moving locations from one place to another can't always go back to acting. The fact that she has more space, so now she's got a taping room, is something really exciting that she could bring up. No, it's not a booking, but I did move locations into a different house now, and I have my own separate taping room, which is really, really cool. It's something I've always wanted. So going into a different direction that still answers their question, but comes from a place of you feeling good because it's a win that you have. That is actually really sound advice. I think that I just avoided conversations with anybody back in the day. So I didn't really have to deal with that very much because I knew I was going to be the snarky one. And you're right. I mean, I didn't feel good afterwards.
Yeah, nobody wins that battle. It's not adding to the family.
Yeah.
You've had what would be considered a very good actor year.
Mm-hmm.
Does your family expect more from you because of that?
No, my family doesn't expect anything. They don't understand any of it. Actually, people will love this comment. I think obviously I need to change this because it was my best year, but I think this year was probably a better year. What my older best year was when I was filming in Hawaii and then Puerto Rico and then was filming in Atlanta. When I was filming in Atlanta, I remember talking to my sister and being like, yeah, I'm filming a show here. Actually, in Atlanta, I'm glad to be back. And she goes, oh, I can't figure out where you are when you're filming, so I just stopped asking. Like, that's what happens in my family. It's not even like, yeah, you've been all over the place, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Atlanta. It's I've stopped asking because I can't keep up with what you're filming, as if it's a negative thing, as if it's a bothersome thing to keep up with what you're filming. I have the opposite experience a lot in this industry where people would be like, yes, I filmed something. I can finally come to the dinner table. I filmed this awesome project. People need to know. I'm going to tell them. They're all going to be excited. I literally could tell my family and they'd be like, that's great. So anyway, Stephanie, how's the baby? That's what's going to happen. So it just gets mulled over.
If you had a kid, would they care more?
I think a lot of people in my life would care more if I had a kid. I think, people see acting as work and people don't value work the way they value babies. But my work is my baby. I have a lot of babies. I have an acting career baby. I have a yoga baby. I have a membership baby. I have 2 Great Dane babies. Like I think society has just fucked us over in terms of being a woman and thinking that being a mother only looks like having a child. But I mean, we are mothers every single day. I feel like both Sam and I mother the mentorship, but mostly like Sam and I mother each other and mother ourselves. Yes. And that to me is like the biggest decision to like
Yeah.
reparent your childlike self. Like, but nobody wants to talk about that. Like, did you have a baby? No, I didn't. But you know what I did? I healed my childhood trauma.
Okay, but I can't get you tiny little Nikes for your childhood trauma.
Oh
And that's
my
what
God,
people
the
want to
Nikes,
sit
right.
around and
Yes.
open. That's what makes them feel comfortable. I think that there is an interesting wave of people are having less kids,
Mm-hmm.
but it still feels like we're not empowering women to
Mm,
do more.
mm,
I will never forget. This was a while ago, but I will never forget having a conversation with several managers ago at this point because I had so many reps. There was a job that was on the table that was non-union. It involved me moving. It was for a very, very poorly run YouTube channel.
ugh,
And it was terrible content, embarrassingly so. It's the type of content where I would have spent years covering it up. I would have used a different name to
whoa.
produce it. And they were gung ho about me being considered for this job, and I said I don't want to take the initial audition.
Mm,
And they said why? And I said, well,
right.
I several reasons, and one of the reasons I listed for them was it would take me away from my family. And they said, by family, do you mean your boyfriend and your dogs, or do you mean a husband and kids? Because it's very different.
It's not.
Yeah, and I will never forget that. And I thought, oh, nobody will respect the fact that I created my own family. I say I have an LA family. I have my husband, yes, who's technically by paper my family now, but I have the dogs. I have my friends. I have my circles. I made my family, and I've always done that wherever I've gone. I made my own family. I don't think it has to fit into the typical narrative of what a family is, like a wife and a husband and kids and a picket fence and a house that you own. No. Also, that narrative is super fucked. So can we just like start to respect a little bit more people's choices? Families look so many different ways. Can we just all get a little love? Can we just all respect each other this
Yeah.
holiday season?
Yeah. The whole baby thing
Ah,
is obviously a fresh topic for me because of my
yeah.
life this year. But I don't want to shout this out like it's all negative. Like everybody I know that has kids is all negative. I have actually one of my best friends, Hannah, is a totally different mom than I've ever seen before. And
Mm-hmm.
she is
So is my friend Amanda.
pregnant. Yeah, that's what you said that. My friend Hannah is literally pregnant about a month and a half away from having a baby. She has two step kids. She got married last year and she still checks in with me about the audition. Like, I'm going to have a text from her by the end of today saying, how'd the Grey's Anatomy audition go? Which she updates me when she has stuff going on so that I can have something to respond to because I don't
Mm.
actually know these things. And so when people do get pregnant, I want to actually give them the benefit of the doubt, thanks, Sam, that they were only showed a certain way to show up. And if they don't have somebody in their life that is like me or you, that's like, I'm not having kids and I need you to not only support that, but I need you to recognize that like this is my variation of kids, then they don't have to think outside of the box. And that's what we just come into a lot. And it's frustrating because, especially as an actor, I mean, thank God you're not going home for the holidays, but like, I think about you and I think about, okay, so you don't have any bookings to be able to show anybody and you don't have a
Mm-hmm.
baby to be able to talk about. So then it's like, Sam, what are you doing with your life? Like, are you doing anything? And it's like, oh my God, I'm doing a lot. I produced 2 things this year. Like, I'm doing
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. I think that nobody's gonna, very few people are gonna show up for most of us in the way that we want them to.
Yeah.
But you know what? It thins the herd. There's very few people that I take care of the way that I take care of you.
Yeah. Oh God, I know. I've seen your text message list. It's like 14 text messages.
And
I'm like, are
I
you going to
really can't.
respond? And she's like, I don't have time.
When I get a text message, it pops up. And so the unread notification goes away. I pin it to the top. And then by the end of the day or after every 3 days, I go back and respond to things I haven't responded to. I have a handful of close friends that I will always respond to and I will always be there for. And that is kind of the point where I'm at in adulthood of that's the same with family. I don't
Mm,
have the capacity to be there for my aunts and uncles. I don't really know them all that well, to be
yeah.
honest, which is kind of sad to say, but also it's
Yeah.
okay
Hmm.
because I'm really there for my parents and I'm
You are really
really
there for
there
your
for
parents.
my sister and I'm really
Yeah.
like My brother's not an open person, so that's not really possible. But I'm really there for my closest friends. I'm like, there's a handful of people I'm able to do it for. So knowing your personal capacity and putting that into play for other people and knowing that you're going to go to Thanksgiving and you're not going to be able to give your sister's husband's brother the same attention that you wish you had, that's fine. It can be a surface level relationship as long as you have deeper ones, I think. Your hometown friends might not be your people anymore when you go back home. Your new friends in your city might be closer to you now than you've had in your life because they see you as this version of the adult that you're living with now. And that's okay, I think, if that's where you spend your holidays and that's kind of what you want to be seen by. I don't think you have to nurture every single freaking relationship in your life because you would be kind of a shitty friend and kind of a shitty family member if you just
Yeah, I mean, you
tried.
can't do everything at 100%.
No. It's a little pick me girl energy for like family to be like, I'm the one who shows up for aunts and uncles and cousins and siblings.
No, you
And it's like,
don't.
okay,
Yeah.
like, okay, that's fine.
How
Like,
well?
yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot. So I just want to give people
That's
that permission too.
that's where I want to end that conversation because during it, I
Yeah.
came up with an idea, and I think it's a good way to round out our podcast. Let's
Ooh.
pick one thing that happened this year. Doesn't have to be acting related. That felt like it was the end of the world, or that like I don't know how I'm going to come back from this, or what the fuck is going on. That we've been able to see full circle, and now has brought a different development into like who you are as a human because of it. Because the reason I want to write that in is that I don't want us to say the one acting win we had that we're thankful for. And I don't want us to say the one thing that we did that changed our acting career, because those things are stupid. But if you continue to develop in being a better human for whoever you are and getting to know who you are more, I think you will ultimately become a better actor, which is more interesting to watch on TV. And so that's why this one, A, doesn't have to be related to acting, and B, needs to be about how it improved you as a human, in case you're playing at home. Just wanted you to know why we're doing it this way.
So I want you guys to comment and share it then. So what is yours since you thought of it?
So earlier this year, I got into a giant fight with my little sister, and we still have not reconciled, unfortunately, and maybe we will eventually. And the argument was about how I didn't show up for her the way she needed me to while she was pregnant. And I've had this argument with a good amount of people. And the way I was raised is like, one person has a problem with you, okay. Multiple people have a problem with you, it's you. So I have spent about 7 months trying to figure out what about me is the problem, so that I keep running into this issue. And for a long time, I think I played into like, I need to fix me. I need to go to therapy, figure out this. I need to read books on babies so I understand more. And where I finally have come to a place of peace in my heart is that the thing about me that needs to change is the expectation for me to show up the way other people would. And so that situation could have been handled better if when I knew she was pregnant, was just like, hey, Steph, I know that I don't know a lot about babies, and I really, really, really want to show up for you. Can you tell me what you need so I can make sure I do that throughout the next 9 months? Because I already knew this was going to be an issue. But it's not about me being a better person or the fact that I'm a shitty human because she felt like I didn't support her when she was pregnant. It's about me knowing myself a little bit deeper and not punishing myself for that, but instead saying to people, this is who I am and how can I meet you for what you need. And that kind of wraps into being an actor, I think, in a really good way of what you're saying with Thanksgiving, because people aren't going to understand us. And so obviously we're at Thanksgiving, everybody wants to connect. So this is who I am. I'm not meeting Tom Hanks tomorrow. And I still want to have this conversation with you. So like, what else is going on in your life? Or I'd love to share with you why me not meeting Tom Hanks isn't a failure in this acting career. So that's my big lesson, is learning how to operate with the people in my life that have kids, because I've run into that situation so much. And because I filmed and booked so many things from being a pregnant woman, it really fucked me over this year. I was like, what if I act like a pregnant woman all the time? What do you mean I don't understand?
Well, the fact that you took something that felt judgmental and felt intense and turned it into introspection of where am I coming from and how can I do this better? Instead of just I swear to God, I hate when people do this, and I'm so glad you don't do this. People are like, I'm not a bitch. I just say how it is. I'm like, all right, well, say how it is nicer then. If that is the common feedback you get, you don't have to sugarcoat it, but just have some nuance, guys. Like,
That's the
come
part of me
on.
that you wouldn't have liked back in college, because
I
that is what I
don't
would say to people. People would be like, that was so
know.
mean. Okay, well, you just don't like the honest truth. And I am who I am. And I didn't say it like a bitch. That's what I said it as. And
Probably you did, though.
I totally said it as a bitch. And Hannah actually taught me. She was like, you can still know what you want to say, but people can't hear it if it's not said in a way that they need to hear it. And I was like,
Yes.
oh, that makes a lot more sense than just,
Mm-hmm.
you're a bitch. It's like, well, you are being a bitch, and most people don't understand bitch. So is there any way we can like work around it?
Put it through a filter. Put it
Yeah.
through a filter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did I vamp enough for you to find yours?
Yeah, I think I thought of it, and it's not as particular, I think, as
Okay.
yours. At the beginning of the year, I totally forgot that I was on hold for a bigger role, but it was in the middle of the fires. And so it totally spaced my brain because more important things were happening. Do you remember I got, yeah, it was that
The
I was put on
movie?
hold to be, Eric Dane's wife in that
Yes, I
show.
do
Yeah.
remember that. Yes.
And it was in such a tumultuous time where I thought, like, what am I just like do the audition? Like, we got to go. Like, things are on fire. You could literally see fire from our house. Like, it's just for so long. And it was such a crazy time. And it filed away so far in my brain. And I'm so proud of myself that acting is so low on the totem pole that life was higher, because that wasn't always the thing. I remember during
No.
COVID, I thought, God, I would be able to relax in this so much more and enjoy being stuck at home if only I had a job to look forward to. That was a thing that went through my head because I couldn't see past myself at some points. And I am really proud of myself for seeing past it this year. In fact, I remember during the fires, I spent a whole day rescuing a baby squirrel. Do you
Yeah, you
remember
did.
this?
Yeah, and I was like, I love you and I love this for you, but I
I
can't
know.
empathetically feel for this. It's a
It
squirrel.
was
It's a
really
rodent.
hard.
But I love that
I've
about
rescued a
you.
few now. I've found a
Oh,
few. I don't know
you've
why.
rescued a few squirrels?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yes.
What do you
Hurt
mean?
animals sometimes just find their way to me. I don't know. They like fall from trees and they get hurt all of the time and
They
they
do.
can't just
That's
mend
true.
themselves.
That's true. It absolutely. There's no judgment from me in this moment. It's just more so like, what what the fuck? But it's a great
Hmm.
thing, and
Hmm.
we do need more people like you, because if more people were concerned about the squirrels, could we imagine what other things they'd be concerned about?
Yeah, it felt like a tiny little thing I could do in the moment. I think it
Yeah,
got smoke asphyxiated and fell out
definitely
of a
did.
tree. And it was a baby, and the babies
Mm.
tend to run towards what they think are their adults, even if they don't know what they are. And it kept
Mm.
running towards the dogs. And at the time,
Oh,
we were picking up a cat catcher to catch the cats that were outside of our house before they tented our house. So we were trying to save cats, and we ended up rescuing a baby
this is a hard
squirrel.
moment in our friendship. I'm
I know, but
listening. I'm
I
here. I'm
need you.
empathetic. I love
Yeah.
you.
But
I'm
like, how
listening. I'm
cool is
here. I'm
it?
empathetic.
I
I love you.
spent a whole day trying to just do a thing. This is the equivalent of you calling someone nonstop to try and fix the next door neighbor's dog situation.
Totally, totally. And I'm
Because your
trying to
next door
think
neighbors
about
left
that.
their dogs outside, and
Hmm.
Gab nonstop became obsessed with getting these dogs inside because it was starting to freeze. And she did it, by the way. She was very
Hmm.
successful.
Hmm.
We rescued the squirrel. We took it, put it in a box. We got it to home.
Hmm.
We didn't know if it was having seizures. Anyway, got it to a rescue
Probably
organization
was
because they were all
because you love to
closed.
have dogs near you and pets
I
near you with
know. We have
seizures.
a lot of them. We have a lot of Kepra on hand in this house. Anyway, I ended up finding a rescue, but it was a time in which I could have fallen back into the everything would be better if type of
Yeah.
situation. And I found a focus that was so outside of me. And so I think that was it's not exactly a victory you can explain to someone over the Thanksgiving dinner table, but I feel pretty good about it. Also, if anybody finds a wild rescue animal, I now know someone who will take it, which is cool.
And you also were able to figure out how to get outside of yourself before LA looked the way that it looked now. And this would have been a
Yeah.
lot harder for you to be able to handle LA's resurgence as it's working its way back to it, if you hadn't gotten into that space already? Like, what if you had taken that whole idea of, oh my gosh, the fires and everything are happening everywhere, but I am on hold for a lead in the movie and everything's gonna be great and that's gonna happen. And it's gonna start everything for my career. I just know it because this is the farthest I've ever gone. And then it didn't happen. And then you spiral. And then LA looks the way it looks this year. And it's just like, you quit, you know? That's where it happens. That's how it happens.
I mean, we could do a whole podcast on the fact that I haven't quit this job yet.
Oh, you should be doing multiple. Well, you kind of did. It was called One Broke Actress, but you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to put that energy out there. Go listen to the past 6-7 years of OBA.
It's almost 10. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my God, almost 10. That is crazy. All right, let's wrap it up. What's our closer?
All right, let's wrap it up.
Thanks
well, I
for
just want people to
listening
take
to our
that.
show. Yes.
Yeah, take that home with you for the holidays and let us know how you feel about this year, how it goes.
That's a good one. Right before you walk into the house. This is a good one for you. Okay. And we're done. Bye.
That's Gab's segue. Okay, bye.